This story takes us back to February 1948. The location was the Strait of Malacca. The Strait of Malacca is a narrow stretch of sea between Malaysia and Indonesia. It is one of the busiest maritime routes in the world, used by thousands of commercial sea vessels every single year. On that day, the weather was perfectly clear. The sea was calm, the wind was gentle. Everything felt completely normal. Several American and British merchant ships were sailing through the strait. Nothing unusual was reported, but suddenly, multiple ships received a strange radio signal. Welcome once again to Max TV History. The signal was transmitted in Morse code. Although Morse code is considered an old method of communication, it is far more reliable than voice messages over long distances. Voice transmissions depend heavily on distance, weather conditions such as fog, humidity, and dust, and clear line of sight. When conditions are poor, voice messages often fade out or reach the receiver with heavy distortion. Morse code, however, uses dots and dashes, which can be decoded into complete English sentences. Because of this, Morse code can travel thousands of kilometers even through atmospheric interference. The signal received that day began with a familiar pattern: 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. The pattern repeated again. When decoded, the opening message meant SOS. SOS. The full message read SOS SOS. This is steamship SS Ourang Medan, requesting immediate contact with a vessel equipped with a shortwave wireless operator and a doctor. This was the first message. Moments later, a second message followed. It said, "The second officer is dead. Other crew members are also dead. Medical advice is not required. SOS, requesting immediate assistance." After this transmission, the ship sent its exact position. Then came the final message. It appeared incomplete. It simply said, "I died." After that, there was total silence. Nearby ships immediately responded, but no reply ever came back. Minutes passed. The silence continued. It became clear to every radio operator listening that something terrifying had happened aboard the steamship SS Ourang Medan. The nearest vessel to the location was an American merchant ship called Silver Star. The captain of Silver Star decided to change course and head toward the source of the distress signal. At first, the crew believed the ship might be sinking or possibly under attack. After several hours at sea, Silver Star reached the reported coordinates. Using binoculars, the crew spotted a large steamship floating silently on the water. As they moved closer, they were shocked. The ship was completely intact. There was no visible damage, no signs of flooding, no evidence of battle. It was simply drifting on the calm sea. Despite being a steam-powered vessel, no smoke was coming from the funnel. Even more disturbing, there was no movement on deck. No crew, no sound. No life. The captain attempted contact using loudspeakers. The ship's horn was sounded repeatedly, but there was no response. Only the sound of waves hitting steel. Eventually, the captain ordered a boarding party to investigate. When the rescue team stepped onto SS Ourang Medan, the atmosphere felt unnaturally cold and completely silent. Moments later, they discovered the first body. The man's face was frozen in absolute terror. His eyes were wide open, his mouth stretched open. It appeared as if he had seen something beyond human understanding. His body was stiff. His arms were extended forward, as though he was trying to protect himself from something unseen. As the team moved deeper into the ship, they found more bodies. Crew members were scattered across the deck. The captain was dead at his post. Officers were found lifeless on the bridge. Even the ship's dog was dead. The dog's body was stiff, its mouth open wide. The most disturbing detail was this: there were no injuries, no blood, no signs of violence. Every body carried the same expression of extreme fear. In the radio room, the rescue team found the radio operator dead. His fingers were still resting on the Morse code key, exactly as they were when he sent the final message. By this point, one thing was certain: something highly abnormal had occurred on this ship. With no visible injuries, it appeared the entire crew had died suddenly after exposure to something invisible. The decision was made to tow SS Ourang Medan to the nearest port for a full investigation. But just as preparations began, smoke started rising from cargo hold number 4. At first, it was light. Then suddenly, a massive fire erupted. The flames spread so quickly that the boarding team had no choice but to retreat. They jumped back into their boats and returned to Silver Star. Moments later, a violent explosion shattered the silence. SS Ourang Medan was torn apart, debris scattered across.